9 days ago, on Saturday, December 21st at 1:21 a.m. Pacific Time, a momentous event occurred around the world at the exact same time, the winter solstice. To be even more precise, it occurred in one moment. Maybe like me, you were sound asleep, but for many societies in the past and some today, this was a critical event. But what is the winter solstice, you're probably thinking? It's when the earth is tilted furthest away from the sun. It's the shortest day of the year and the longest night. It's the first day of winter and the beginning of sun returning. What we're seeing in the slide is Stonehenge. It is a prehistoric structure on Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, that was built to align with the sun on the solstices. It is estimated as being erected in stages between the year 3000 and 1520 BC. It's a popular tourist attraction, and here we see people waiting to see the setting sun on the winter solstice. The exactness of this alignment and that of the summer solstice would have taken considerable skill and knowledge, as it was done without the aid of modern technology and measuring devices. It was made with the help of expert shaman astronomers who knew how to place the stones. Not only were they master astronomers, they also had a deep understanding of geometry and design. I've gone into detail about this because the other societies I will mention did not have modern technology and measuring devices either. Slide. The next slide is of Newgrange, Ireland, located about an hour's drive from Dublin. It was built in 3200 BC by Stone Age farmers. It is older than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Giza. It's an ancient tomb, a place of astrological, spiritual, religious, and ceremonial importance. I read a comparison of Newgrange to a cathedral where kings and queens were buried. Westminster Abbey in London comes to mind. Newgrange could have been the cathedral of Stone Age times. On the winter solstice, a shaft of sunlight comes through the passage to the chamber and shines on this image etched on a rock wall. This lasts for 17 minutes. There are hundreds of similar mounds in Europe. From what we have seen so far, marking the solstices was extremely important. Across the ages in civilizations separated by thousands of miles of land or ocean, people have revered the sun. Many societies have also constructed structures like pyramids or used rock formations and other objects to mark the solstices. They show people's passionate interest in the sun's seasonal cycle, and they were marked by communal celebrations. A partial list is Egypt with their sun god Ra, the Canaanites in Mesopotamia, Angkor Wat in Cambodia, China, Japan, and India, Polynesia, Teotihuacan in Mexico with its Pyramid of the Sun, the Maya, Aztec, and Incas. And here in North America, Mississippi Valley, the Great Plains, Fajada Butte in Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, and the Chumash and Pomo in California. In Chaco Canyon and in Cusco, ceremonies are still held. There are so many societies that honor the winter solstice in constructed objects and or ceremonies that it could take many days to explore. By now, you may be wondering why the winter solstice was so important to so many world societies. As I mentioned earlier, these societies did not have modern technology or measuring devices. Their shaman astronomers closely studied the stars and nature to make predictions about events crucial to the society, and they were very accurate. It is hard for us to understand how much fear there was when the days got shorter and there was less sun. Maybe the sun would never come back. Imagine having children, animals, and crops, and what it would be like if the sun didn't return. It was a matter of life and death. Everything and everyone would die. There was such relief, joy, and celebration when it was seen that the sun did come back. Richard Kleinberg writes, "It is difficult for us in the modern world who see the new year merely as a time of fun, frivolity, and hollow resolutions to appreciate the seriousness with which early peoples regarded the occasion. To them, the new year was a time when the world ended and began again. And in order for the sun to continue shining, the rain falling, crops growing, and animals reproducing, human beings had to play their ritual part in the cosmic proceedings. At the winter solstice, the shamans and priests of societies throughout the world officiated at rites of world renewal. Today, we are so removed from where our food comes from. Our supermarkets are filled with many items in plastic bags and containers, including produce and meats. Bananas come from Ecuador and blueberries from Peru all year round. Even shopping at farmers markets where the produce is seasonal, we are not part of growing and harvesting it. It's difficult for us to relate to how other societies would be so anxious and relieved at the winter solstice with the rebirth of the sun. But I want to focus on the festival of Yule, which dates back centuries, because it had such an influence on how we celebrate Christmas today. Yule is a winter festival falling on the winter solstice, originally celebrated by the Germanic people. This festival is feasting and merrymaking during the darkest, coldest time of the year. It marks the end of a long, bleak winter and the rise of spring. People would decorate their homes with greenery such as holly and ivy, light logs, and eat special holiday foods. The festival typically lasts for 12 days, beginning on the day of winter solstice and ends on January 1st. It is a time of hope, rebirth, and renewal. The Yule festival was a pagan celebration, later Christianized and transformed into Christmas. Some similarities between Yule and Christmas are: they both are celebrated around the winter solstice. They are decorated with evergreen branches, wreaths, and evergreen trees. They both had a version of Santa Claus, giving gifts, feasting, and both are about being with those you love. One of the most well-known Yule traditions was burning a large log in the hearth. The logs were to burn for 12 days until the complete resurrection of the sun. Today you can order a bûche de Noël cake that is shaped and decorated like a log. Mistletoe was used as a decoration for centuries and is a sign of goodwill and peace. Ivy is a sign of rebirth and eternity. The holly tree is associated with new life and growth. A Yule candle is a symbol of light and life. Gingerbread is a centuries-old tradition dating back to pagan celebrations. Both Christmas and Yule have roots in ancient pagan celebrations, but have evolved into different festivals. Christmas has become a time of joy and celebration, while Yule has retained its more contemplative nature. The 12 days of Yule are a time of self-reflection. Saint Lucia is an early Catholic saint who was born in Syracuse, Italy in the year 283 AD and died in 304. The legend goes that Saint Lucy brought food and water to the Christians who were being persecuted and hiding in the catacombs of Rome. In order to carry more food in her arms, she put a wreath on her head with candles to light her way. When she refused to marry, her suitor accused her of being a Christian, and she was killed by Roman authorities. She became a martyr and patron saint to people who were blind and those with eye and throat illnesses. Every year on December 13th in Sweden and other countries on St. Lucia's feast day, young girls dress in white dresses with red sashes and wear lighted wreaths in their hair, carrying trays of coffee and baked goods. Saint Lucia is a symbol of light and hope. The name Lucia means light. Indigenous peoples had explanations for natural phenomenon. One of these is the Hawaiian legend of Maui slowing the sun. Maui is a demigod in Hawaiian mythology, and the island of Maui was named after him. He is sometimes called the Hawaiian Superman. Maui is said to have used his magical hook to pull the Hawaiian Islands up from the ocean. One day, Maui was visiting his mother, the goddess Hina. He noticed that she was upset. When he asked her why, she said that it seemed that the sun had just risen and it was already setting. Her kapa, which is beaten bark cloth, wasn't drying, and she was hearing that plants were wilting. Maui hated to see his mother unhappy, and he came up with a plan. He made a strong rope from the fibers of a coconut tree. He climbed up Haleakala, which is a dormant volcano on Maui, where the sun slept, and waited until the sun began to rise. Then he lassoed the sun with his rope. The sun was furious and spat fire everywhere. It caused earthquakes to occur and boulders to fall. Angrily, the sun said, "Why are you doing this, and what do you want?" Maui told the sun that his mother's kapa wouldn't dry, and the plants were dying because he was moving too quickly through the sky. The sun thought about it and came up with a compromise. If Maui would let him go, he would move slowly through the sky for half the year and quickly through the sky for the next half. Maui agreed to this, and the sun kept his promise. Next one. The 12 days between the winter solstice and January 1st can be a time of rest, reflection, and renewal. Some questions to consider are, what do I want to let go of going into the new year? What is no longer serving me? There will be a burning bowl service right here next Tuesday at 7 p.m., where you will have an opportunity in a ritual to let go of what is no longer useful to you. And remember that it's getting lighter every day. I'd like to close with a blessing. May the blessed light be on you, light without and light within. May the blessed sunlight shine on you and warm your heart until it glows like a great fire, so that a stranger may come and warm himself at it, and also a friend. May you know that God will always bless you, love you, and keep you. May it be so. Amen.